All right, so Neverwinter is a free-to-play from the ground up action MMORPG set in Neverwinter, in and around the city of Neverwinter, which is for those of you who know the Forgotten Realms or anything like this, like the biggest city, or maybe not biggest, but the most popular in Forgotten Realms, which is arguably the most popular campaign setting under D&D. So, really top-tier fantasy pedigree that we're working with. It's very, very exciting that we get to do this because we work with Wizards very closely, and they have awesome people like R.A. Salvatore working on more novels with Drizzt and the Neverwinter campaign setting that just came out. So the world is kind of growing, and we get to be canon along with them and tell some really cool stories there. But what we have here is a character sitting in Protector's Enclave, which is one of the persistent zones that we have in the game. It's one of the major social areas, too, where you can imagine your guildies meeting up at that bar up there, the Moonstone Mass, doing any of their guild meetings or an e-wedding or something like that, right? But we are here talking about the Foundry and how that takes place. And this is, like I mentioned, one of the persistent world zones. And I'm showing you now that in my mission tracker here, I have up here a Foundry mission, and I have a Cryptic mission. And you guys probably can't tell, and that's kind of the idea. There's no difference for us in terms of what missions that you guys have created and what missions we've created. If I open up my journal as well, this is the Cryptic mission. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the Cryptic mission, and this is the Foundry one that I have. And they're just displayed exactly the same. If you were running around this world, say you were that character running around, I could team up with you. You could share me the Cryptic mission. I could share you the Foundry mission, and we'd go quest together, do all that fun stuff along with each other. All of my mission waypoints, my mission tracker, even our golden path, which is a helpful tool that we've put in. If you can toggle it on and off if you ever lost to help you get to the next objective. That will work regardless of who made that mission as well. So one of the things that we've done in all of our persistent world is flag a whole bunch of NPCs and objects and locations as available for you to hook into for your mission. So this contact right here, if I had not picked up this mission, would not have the quest giver icon over his head. He'd just be an NPC in the world. Now that I've accepted that mission, he is a contact because that designer decided that that's where that hook wanted to be. And now if I go talk to him, I can continue that quest and move forward. So how do I get UGC missions? There's a few things that you can do. One being going to the landing page. And this is the thing that will pop up every time you start playing the game. You have your guild message of the day. If this wasn't just a demo character, it would show you what quests you need to do to progress the storyline further, the status of your auction, mailbox, that sort of thing. You'll notice prominently featured the Foundry is here, and this is where the community or Cryptic will say, these are some really good missions that are made by the community that you guys should check out. You can pull it up and view it in the catalog and say, oh, this is something that's really, really cool. I'll accept that mission. Boom, it's right there in your journal, in your mission tracker, you're ready to go. That's a sort of a meta UI way to do it just for convenience. If you're more into immersion and want to get to the story, go to some of our social areas, or maybe we'll hop into this tavern right here. We'll go over to the job board, and that'll take us back to that catalog, and you can see what kind of missions are up there for people to use. An even more immersive way to do it, you can go talk to these barmaids or Harper agents that we've scattered throughout our persistent zones. And this is, they'll show you a subset of the UGC content that's specific for that area. So say you're in the Black Lake District or you're out in the Neverwinter Woods. When you're creating content, you'll see in a little bit when I show you that you can specify where your mission takes place. And so these guys will show you content that's appropriate for that area. If you're really digging whatever stories are happening there, you just want to continue with specifically that, you can do that. So that's a little bit about how you can get in and grab content. Now we'll hop into the editor and show you how to make stuff. If I can remember my password. Boom. So you notice that I went straight back into your normal character select screen. One of the things that, in my opinion, plagues other content creation tools is that it's like a whole separate executable. You have all your files living, in a different place other than the real game. And so that was one of our big focuses here, to have it be seamlessly integrated. And you saw that a lot with the missions and how that tracks there. But it's also in the same launcher, in the same character select screen. You just enter the Foundry and you're ready to start editing. So we're going to create a new project called Last Demo of Today. And we're loading into the Foundry. One of the things that we've also tried to do is really promote this idea of accessibility. One of the first things you ever do when you're trying to use a new UGC tool suite is watch like 6 hours of tutorial videos, and then you still don't know how to do anything, and you get all frustrated. We're maybe not so sure that you won't need anything like that, but we're really trying to do our best to make that not be the case. So we have these helpful little triangles here that show anytime there's something that you have to do to have a done, complete working mission. These little triangles will show up, and there's also a little wizard here that will show you, these are the things that you still have left to do to have a working mission. You can also click on these, and they'll take you exactly to the point in the editor that needs you to do something to be able to complete that. So for right now, we'll choose a location for the mission, and you get this sweet map of the Sword Coast. This is, I've seen this in a bunch of Forgotten Realms books, in the Neverwinter campaign guide. You have the Mirror of Dead Men down here, the crags up here, the city of Neverwinter. This is where you get to choose where your mission is. So I'm going to choose, a mine or a lighthouse or an inn, although I like the mine, and I'm going to put it up in the crags. And that blows my mind. That's so cool to me as a fan of the realms, because then you say, oh, my mission is in the mines and the crags. Like I note that means something. I think Wolfgar and Caddy Bree were running around there not too long ago, right? And so there's a lot of built-in context that's really cool. And then when people are playing your mission, they go up to the map transition door. They'll have to select, okay, I'm going to go to that location, and that is really evocative of that Baldur's Gate classic RPG computer game feel. So anyways, we picked the mines and the crags, and we'll hop to the story tab now. So normally there's a lot of technical details that you have to know to hook up all these missions, but we tried to kind of move that to the background, and all we want you to think about is, how do I, as a player, or how do I want my players to access this content? So let's do a basic MMO quest. You start in the social area. You talk to a guy who sends you to his house because he needs you to kill some guys and pick up a bale of hay or whatever some quest may be, right? That's a quest that has happened in pretty much every MMO ever. So we'll drag over a cryptic map where we want you to talk to a guy. And then you're going to go to a new map, and you're going to kill some dudes, and you're going to click on a thing. And we have a mission.
Best mission ever.
all of that complicated mission logic, all of that technical detail that honestly we pay people to do at my company, the system's just going to do that for you. So what you put in here in this mission text field is talk to the guard, and that's what's going to show up in your journal and your mission tracker. It'll be the objective that you want. And then what do you want that guard to say? Hey man, go to my house, with improper spelling.
It's the accent.
Yeah, that's right. It's all.
So you'll hear me say this a bunch of times, but there's always a fast, simple, easy way to go in and do something, and then there's that depth and complexity if you need it. So here, having that guy say something really easy, you just type in field information there. If you want to tell like a robust story, you want to get complex with it, you can go to the advanced dialogue editor and start going crazy. So everything you enter in these fields will be the options that players have to respond. So if they press 1, they'll say yes. They'll say no. What happens if they press 2 and they say no? That ends in failure. If you want this to elaborate more, you say, tell me more, or no way, or whatever it may be. If you want to do some like really intense dialogue puzzles, something like that, you can have this loop back around up there, or point to any number of other places. Say you wanted someone who's really standoffish in your campaign. He didn't want to talk to you until you've proven yourself to him. You can set this dialogue option to not be available until they've maybe completed a mission objective, or maybe they've brought you a certain item. So all of that stuff that D&D DMs are going to love to deal with, you can get in if you drill down and really try to mess around with it.
What about skills?
So skills, we have skills in the game. We haven't finalized their implementation yet.
Okay.
But I've said it a bunch of times, we want these to be no different than the cryptic ones. So if eventually we end up having that be a part of dialogue options, then it will of course translate to here. So as helpful as this editor is, sometimes you just need to experience it to know if everything's working out. Hop into the tavern real fast and talk to the contact who looks like Red Skull, and just walk your way through the contact, make sure everything makes sense, make sure you don't have any looping endlessly looping areas, that sort of thing. This kind of focus on that iterative design is really important because we do it all the time as developers, and we wanted to get tools out there that people are able to quickly hop back and forth between the editor, make sure that everything works out. It's all good. So we'll go back to the story tab, and we have to say, who is this guard that we're talking to? We'll come over here, and we have only a sampling of them in this build, but you can imagine all of our cryptic maps will show up here eventually. And like I mentioned before, there's a number of people and objects and things that you can set as your entryway into your UGC mission. So here, there's a young street urchin, there's a merchant over here, there's a cleric if you wanted to. So whatever you want the NPC to be that starts your mission off, you can select them here. So that nobleman will be our guy telling us to go to his house. And now we have to make the house, right? We're going to actually make some mission objectives right now so we don't have to come back later. So we're going to have you kill some guys and get stuffs. So let's go edit the map. And again, you could manually navigate there if you want. I prefer the wizard because it's flashy. So let's make the map. The easy way to do map creation, you just come over here and pick any number of our pre-made maps. This is where we'll have, tons of sewers and dungeons and any number of different things that you can imagine. But that's less cool than building our own. So we'll make a custom map. You can do indoor and outdoors. I'm just doing an indoor map just because I like it better. So for me, this is one of the coolest things of the editor because it harkens back most to my time playing D&D on pen and paper. Like my DM will say, you guys walk down the corridor and see a right turn, right? And then he'll either draw it in graph paper or pull down the tile set, something like that. So we'll look at these rooms and you can see that there's caves and crypts and dungeons and houses and all this other stuff. And you can actually view the room, have a nice little Tetris piece here, or maybe you're looking at this thing and you like the way that one looks. Whatever it may be. There's filters that you can look for just caves or, all those simple usability things. But we're here looking at this room, so we'll drag it on there. And cool, we've got a room. And I want a hallway that connects it, and you just connect it like that. It's just like snapping things together Lego style. We have this piece of tech called Doors Anywhere, which, if you couldn't have figured it out, allows you to have doors anywhere. So say you play tested this mission and you didn't like that flow where it went straight that way. You can just rotate this room and move it around and, add that door right there. If you look at the template of the room down here, it has those walls, so it's automatically like sealing up the walls or making doors where you want them to be. So let's finish making a cool little map here. Let's have it go like that. Cool. So this is a sweet little map we've made here, but if you're looking at just these, the templates that we've dropped down, they're basically empty. We'll want to go in and detail things. So you can go into the details pane or the traps pane and start dropping down any number of little objects and props that you want. So, we have banners and beer kegs and barrel rocks and beer casks. I said 2 beer things. Books, all that stuff. So you can imagine just, I want to tell a story about a wizard in his office, and so we're going to find all of the book stuff that you want and start stacking up books there. So, you can go in here and move all the stuff around, which is really cool. Maybe you don't have the time to do that, or you don't have the artistic eye to be able to go in there and do that. You can right-click here and say populate the room, and that'll drop down a bunch of props already and make sure that room is fully decked out in a way that's thematically appropriate for the kit that you chose. So this one being a house, there's rugs and tables and chairs and that sort of thing. That being said, you're not locked into this. It's not like you've just now selected a prefab that you can't change. Let's get rid of this rug. We didn't like this barrel over here either. And I really am digging statues. So, we'll add in this drow statue right here and maybe this big old lion statue. Why not?
Is it relatively random what it populates it with? Like, so if you do it and I do it, it doesn't look the same?
It'll always, per room, it'll be a consistent layout.
Okay.
We are, right now, depending on how many kits we end up doing, we'll see if there is like population preset 1 versus population preset 2. That probably won't happen for launch, or maybe it will, but right now just making sure that all of the rooms have cool sets that they can go from. It will be our starting point. So we've done that. What do we have left to do in our story? Oh, we have to put down the guys to kill. Duh. So we'll come here and drop this encounter, and that's the mission objective encounter. And the way that works is we're putting down encounter templates. So say we're looking to have some drow, for example. You can look through here, and there's a melee encounter of hard difficulty, or you can put down a mixed melee and ranged of easy difficulty, something like that. By approaching it in this way, it allows us to give out real rewards for doing UGC, because we know what a level 28 easy drow encounter should give you in terms of rewards. So you will be able to progress your character from beginning of the game to max level just doing UGC if you so choose. You'll be able to get real XP, items, cash, all that stuff. So just because you're doing encounters, though, doesn't mean you don't have a lot of control over these guys. So you can move the specific encounters around. So say, at this doorway you want all the melee guys to have a choke point or something like that, whatever it may be. Or say your mission has a specific named guy that you're trying to defeat. You can come in and take this specific actor and say, his name is Andy the Bad. And you can actually go in and choose his specific costume. And this is where Cryptic Studios made its name in really robust character creation options. So you can go through any number of these pre-made costumes that we made, and if you say, all I really care about is I need an elf or maybe a drow, you can do that. You can use the search filters, or you can just browse and look for cool ghost pirates, whatever it may be. But we'll take how about this beat up guard? So we'll use him. But that's the easy, quick way to get in there. If you want to get some more detailed feedback on your guy, you come into the costume editor. And this is where you get that really robust Cryptic Studios special where you can come in and start changing everything. Give him a different little helmet or hat or something. Ooh, I like that one. Let's go back. Do that, and you can change all the colors. All this stuff that you want to do. None of this, as I just randomly make the ugliest man alive. Oh, that one has no body. That's a ghost man. Let's revert back to the preset. I don't like what was happening there. Oh, we'll take the zombie man. So that's still, even as complex and gritty as that was, we can go a step further and switch to advanced mode. And we even tell you, like, hey, you're about to go kind of off the deep end if you want. And this gives you access to all of these really, really cool sliders where you can just really make, all kinds of crazy stuff. And for the life of me, I've never been able to succeed at making anything cool looking here, but I've given this to my artists, and they create just whole new critter groups that look really great because they've shrunken a wolf head down and they added these claws, and all of a sudden it looks like a hybrid bear-wolf thing, or whatever it may be. So if you want that detail, if you want that control, you can absolutely get it. But it's easy to also just put a hat on a guy and make him look really cool.
Now, when you select the different body types for that, like you were showing, we had ghost figures and drow and all that other stuff, does the creator automatically add their special stats? Like the ghosts are spectral and the drow have infravision, all that various stuff, or is it still set to what the difficulty melee?
It was that it'll take the combat characteristics of that root critter that you used.
Okay.
Right now you're editing its costume only.
Okay. Is there a button to auto-populate it with the special attributes, or?
So those will always just be dictated by whichever encounter group you are placing there.
So you could feasibly do a easy melee encounter with a great worm dragon.
Yes, if you so wanted to, because maybe and maybe right now in that context that doesn't make sense. But if the mission I was writing is someone had cast a mirage spell on that thing and made it look really sweet, but it was actually very weak, you'd want to be able to have that flexibility to do something if you so chose to. So we have now that guy with a costume that we chose, and now we have to go click on an object, which, because I placed the statue earlier, we will have another statue show up here, and golden lions. Yeah, golden lions are definitely where it's at. Okay, cool. So we have the workings of the most nonsense mission ever. But we'll go see what it's like. So just like the dialogue tree editor, hopping in and getting that quick iterative design feedback that you need when you're making your mission is very, very important. So we wanted to have a way that you could quickly get in and playtest that map you were working on. So it's been, I don't know, 10 seconds or so. And we're here now in the map that we had with a giant lion statue that I placed there. This is auto-populated with all that other stuff that was there. We see that the rug that I removed is totally gone. The other drow statue is still there. So it was very, very quick and easy to get up and running and playtesting and seeing what's going on.
Except the table in the lion.
I'm sorry?
Except for the table in the lion. It's very special cut.
Yeah. So you can run, you remember I didn't detail any of these other rooms, but you can see that it's already at least of a minimum quality in terms of visuals. It's not just like an untextured white box. Really making it, the focus being, it should be easy to make at least the minimum quality of something, right? If you're only interested in telling a cool story, you don't have to spend hours and hours trying to figure out how to texture a room or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So we'll progress through here. Here's the little kobold that we added, kobold over there. And here's this big boss man, which we named, and he's Andy the Bad, and he's wearing this cool costume that we actually defined for him. So all that stuff really, really quickly and easily work. You'll notice that my mission says it has the name, it has the appropriate objective, and the little statue. I can't interact with that because my mission says I have to kill everyone first. So all of that mission logic totally just works out the gate. We have some special dev commands here that make it a little bit easier. Say you set up a bunch of conditional statements or visibility triggers, sort of thing like that. You can just reset the map real quickly if you want to try it again. If you're not necessarily testing out combat, but you want to see some other things, you can just kill the targets real fast. You notice that all the notifications work, your waypoint is updated, your mission tracker is updated, the statue is now clicky, all of that stuff, again, just works straight out the gate. And you can even see what the loot experience is going to be. You can see, I put too many easy guys and not enough cool stuff was dropping, so I'm going to try it again, right? It'll tell you how that goes. So that's the basics of getting in there and making stuff, but what happens when you're done making things? We really wanted to give authors an opportunity to make a name for themselves within Neverwinter. So as we go through the catalog, you'll notice that the author name is prominently featured here. It's also prominently featured here. You can actually click more by this author and you reach that author's specific blog page. Every author will have one of these out just because in Neverwinter. And they'll have, they can put little updates like Quest 3 is coming, check us out soon. I'll have an update in a week or something like that. I can subscribe to the Monad or anyone else and get an in-game mail whenever they've updated one of their missions or whenever they release a new mission. I can message them and I can also donate to them. So if I really like your content, I can grant you, have 50 Astral Diamonds, keep it up, I really like this. So more incentive for those quality dedicated individuals to get in and really make cool content for us, or for everyone for that matter. And imagine we'll also have a set of DM rewards where, say, get 5-star rated missions, and you'll have a special border around your name when you post on the forums or something. It'll say like DM level 8 or something like that. So all of that stuff aimed at making each individual author feel really cool and helping it to incentivize them to try to create more and better content.
Are you going to be able to comment on other people's things?
Yeah, so you can actually check everyone. You can see the reviews. One that doesn't have any. Actually, you know how I can show you? I can't show you because I'm viewing this one. But yes, there's, you see the star rating, it has 11 reviews. The average is 4.27 stars here, and you can actually read all the reviews on this tab. And then when you finish the mission, or if you drop the mission, you'll have a dialogue that pops up that says, please rate this mission and write any comments that you'd like as well.
Okay.
When you're playtesting the levels, is it possible to change your default character's class and stuff like that so you can run through it to make sure it's solvable by...
So you're able to have so I have right now a rogue character. You can go into your project with a different character that happens to be a guardian fighter or something like that, and you can play through it.
And what about specific rewards? Like, what if can you have GM generated items that are persistent?
So that's one of the major things that we're still trying to tackle. We don't quite know yet how we're going to handle that. It might be something where we do almost like a Chinese menu option where you have, if it's a level 10 mission, you have up to this many stats to grant, and you can then choose how you want to do it and then rename it and give it an icon or something like that. We're still discussing how we implement that. Cool. Any other questions?
What about, what if you wanted to do audio or anything customized? Like for the dialogue tree, if you wanted to actually voice the audio, or if you wanted objects to have specific sounds or anything like that.
So audio will absolutely do, there will be ways for you to choose what audio events happen on things. It'll be very similar to how it is now, where we have a library of assets that you're able to select and attach to different things. You'll not be able to import your own audio assets, though.